Is the chain of command for the U.S. military broken, and is there some kind of barrier to just notify if there are issues that you're having medically speaking, even at the top brass level, to include Secretary Lloyd Austin? We're going to get into that because the drama that has unfolded as he has not notified proper channels of him being not available to perform his duties. And this whole story seems to have unfolded, and it's why I'm glad I've waited. If you've not stuck around for every piece of this story, I do think it's important to start from the top, so let's go there. This comes from the ABC News president, Luis Martinez, which had written a letter to these officials and says, "Dear Mr. Meager and Major General Ryder, we are writing to express our significant concerns about the Defense Department's failure to notify the public and the media about Secretary Lloyd Austin's current hospitalization. The fact he has been at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center for 4 days and the Pentagon is only now alerting the public late on Friday evening is an outrage. It falls far below the normal disclosure standards that are customary by other federal departments when senior officials undergo medical procedures or are temporarily incapacitated. The public has a right to know when the U.S. cabinet members are hospitalized, under anesthesia, or when duties are delegated as a result of any medical procedure. That has been the practice even up to the president's level. As the nation's top defense leader, Secretary Austin has no claim to privacy in this situation. At a time when there are growing threats to the U.S. military service members in the Middle East, and the U.S. is playing key national security roles in the wars in Israel and Ukraine, it is particularly critical for the American public to be informed about the health status and decision-making ability of its top defense leader. We request a meeting with you to discuss this troubling situation as soon as possible. The Pentagon Press Association Board of Directors." Signed, Luis Martinez and all these other president, vice president, breaking defense secretary, and also Reuters at large board member. I do want to reflect on this too, of this is not uncommon. Lloyd Austin, our Secretary of Defense, has been an official military member. He was a general before, so he had command level leadership. Even when you're down at that level, or even if he was an O1, for example, there is some kind of accountability of a second quarters shit. If you were having a procedure done where you needed that done for whatever reason, a doctor would sign it, there would be something called convalescent leave. If you are a commander in charge of a unit, for example, there's always some written delegation where it says the next person will be in charge, and they use the term acting so that way they can actually perform some of the tasks needed if, for example, they are not able to perform said task. Remember during COVID-19 when that was huge and everybody was wondering what happened with President Trump when he was in office and his care, and they actually stood outside the same hospital here as far as the team goes, and they reported on the president's condition and things like that. Even so, this past year, the Commandant of the Marine Corps, this is the top general of the entire Marine Corps, was hospitalized for healthcare concerns, and he had made a statement like the next day. Everybody was notified. It was known, get well. Everybody was wishing him the best, and he's back in the fight now speaking, and we're all happy about that. But a lot of people are mad that this was not done, and even the Pentagon did release some kind of press release here, and they were like saying how Secretary Lloyd Austin had just had an elective procedure, and there are memes going around like this. And this got so big that there are people that were actually reporting in anonymity coming out talking about this that are looking to be unofficial channels that didn't want to get fired essentially, but they're saying everybody dropped the ball on this and they didn't do what they were supposed to. This is from the AP. It says the Pentagon did not inform the White House National Security Council or top advisor Jake Sullivan of Austin's hospitalization at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland until Thursday. According to two administration officials, the officials were not authorized to speak publicly about the matter and spoke to the AP on condition of anonymity. The Pentagon's failure to disclose Austin's hospitalization for days reflects a stunning lack of transparency about his illness, how serious it was, and when he may be released. Such secrecy at a time when the United States is juggling myriad national security crises runs counter to normal practice with the president and other senior U.S. officials and cabinet members. And a lot of people are worried that there may be discontent, broken down communication in critical infrastructure that is in place to brief things up the chain of command when there's somebody as important as not going to be there, especially a key player as far as Secretary of Defense. But Lloyd Austin did come out and make a comment, and he said this. He says, "I want to thank the amazing doctors and nursing staff at Walter Reed for the exceptional care they've delivered to me and for the personal warmth they have shown my family. I also appreciate all the outreach and well wishes from colleagues and friends. Charlene and I are very grateful for your support. I'm very glad to be on the mend and look forward to returning to the Pentagon soon. I also understand the media concerns about transparency, and I recognize I could have done a better job ensuring the public was appropriately informed. I commit to doing better. But this is important to say. This is my medical procedure, and I will take full responsibility for my decisions about disclosure." I do agree that he was needing to inform the public because obviously there's official channels to notify that as citizens of the United States and people that have elected officials and ensuring that the safety and security of the country is there. However, he did not apologize to anybody in the chain of command going up, which I was a little surprised about. I do wonder what those channels look like as far as that goes. And there were people across Twitter and various other places that were saying, like, could Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin lose his position in the cabinet because he failed to notify? And that's not our decision or anything like that. I think there are a lot of people speculating if that was the case. Now, we are here today of the breaking of this news and why I'm so glad I waited out of the integrity and the full extent of what we'd see from this, because I think a lot of people that were coming after him with these memes and various other things that were very discontent over this action. And I don't know if this excuses everything because there is a lot of context to this, but it appears that Lloyd Austin actually had prostate cancer. Now, let's break this down a little bit for you guys here. According to ABC, they write the following. They say, Lloyd Austin's prostate procedure. When is surgery considered elective? Now they say, is surgery for prostate cancer considered an elective procedure? The Defense Department has ascribed Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin surgery to treat his prostate cancer on December 22nd as an elective medical procedure. Austin, who went home the day after the procedure, later developed complications from the operation and was hospitalized January 1st. Walter Reed National Military Center officials said in a statement Tuesday. Austin underwent a procedure called a prostatectomy, Walter Reed officials said, in which surgeons remove some or all of the prostate gland. Aside from skin cancer, prostate cancer is the most common cancer in men in the U.S., according to the American Cancer Society. And the cancer is more likely to develop in older men, and the risk is higher in black men, the ACS says. While elective can make it sound like the operation wasn't necessary, the word instead refers to timing of the surgery. As my little bit of medical knowledge, I can agree that prostate cancer is usually not that dangerous. And they do say across various platforms as well in articles saying that the prognosis of prostate cancer and his prostate cancer does seem to be good. Okay. But they do agree across these different articles saying that apparently it could have waited, right? And this is not something that was elective per se. They could have said exactly what it was. It was not elective. This is actually for a very serious condition. And I do appreciate Lloyd Austin coming out with some transparency with us because I do believe that that transparency could lead to advocacy, could lead to understanding, could lead to people having sympathy, which I think a lot of people will, because a lot of people have been affected by cancers. However, I think people will also, on the backhand of this, also come back at Lloyd Austin and say, if it's such a slow metastasizing, developing or growing type of cancer, and you decided for this to be on December 22nd, why were you not notifying or officiating those two official means as far as advocating in writing that there would be some kind of person that would be acting upon your behalf? This is where I get to you guys. Do you have more sympathy towards this situation because Lloyd Austin does have a cancer diagnosis? Like, I have to give all well wishes to him as well, because that is a hard thing to swallow, to digest, to deal with the procedure. It's uncomfortable, right? It says he had nausea and all these other things. Or are you the person that you're just kind of like, you don't care about that, and that doesn't excuse any of this? Let me know in the comments below, because I do hope that this is not a sign of degraded chain of command or anything else, and that this is just somehow some miscommunication, unfortunately, is happening even at a higher level. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this, because that's where it goes on. But as always, if you guys like what I cover on this channel, make sure you guys always hit me up over on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.